Hello, welcome to TCFl Central, home of the TCFl Game of the Week. Today's show, the TCFL Week in Review, will be reviewing Week 6. So first off is we'll go over last week's scores and box scores. Okay, take a quick look over at the games for Week 6. We have Yosemite defeating Detroit 34-31. And here's the scoring drives that you see with a very close game all the way to the end. 3 minutes left, Detroit was scoring a touchdown and went down by 3. Drive summary. Detroit did have the ball, but did not move it on the last possession to get back in the game. Total offense, Yosemite cracked the 500-yard mark, and Detroit still had over 400 yards themselves. Player statistics. Watson 3 for 393. Murray threw for 276. Rushing stats. Receiving. Play-by-play. And lineups. Okay, second game on the schedule with Sheraton at Akron. Akron winning that game 31-6. This was Akron's first game on the PC as they are in the head-to-head conference. This looks like it was all Akron. Sheraton didn't get on the board until after Akron had already scored 22 points. Sheridan just had 2 field goals for the game. Total offense, neither team cracked the 300-yard offense, with Akron 272 and Sheridan 213. Not much in the passing either. Rivers did crack over 200 yards for Sheridan. And there's play-by-play. And the lineups. Next game was Green at New York. This was a very close game. Green winning 30-26. This is another head-to-head conference game. New York got on the board first, but then Green came back with 4 straight touchdowns. Then New York 2 touchdowns. And with 7 minutes left in the game, New York kicked a field goal to get it within 4. Go down to the drive summary. New York had an opportunity to go ahead, but they had 8 plays, 22 yards, and had the punt, and Green ran out the clock. Both teams had over 300 yards in offense, with Green 374, New York 318. Player stats, both quarterbacks threw for over 200 yards, Mahomes for 265, Mayfield for 230. Edwards ran for 88. And there's the play-by-play. And the lineups. Next game on the schedule was Putnam County at Front Street. and Putnam County gave Front Street a battle as this game went into overtime, with Front Street winning on a field goal. You'll see it was very close games throughout. Looks like Putnam County did have a sizable lead late in the third quarter, 28-13. Front Street coming back with 17. And then Front Street with a field goal with 3:06 remaining to win it in overtime. Putnam County did have a chance, but Front Street kicked the field goal. Putnam County could not do much. It were 3 plays and out in the overtime. Front Street net offense was over 500 yards. Putnam County was 375. Player stats: Rogers threw for 375. Stafford nearly 300 yards himself. No 100-yard game. Other teams had a receiver with 9 catches, and Robinson had 161 yards for Front Street. There's the play-by-play. You see the overtime. Putnam County was able to move the ball hardly at all. And then Front Street took possession on their own 3-yard line, walked all the way down to kick a field goal to win the game. And there's the lineups. Next game was Cleveland the champions. This was the game of the week. Not much of a game here. Our first quarter was tied, but champion then scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unanswered touchdown to easily defeat Cleveland 31-10. Drive summaries. Total offense: Cleveland with 339. Champion over 400. 441. Interestingly, Cleveland had over 300 yards offense and only mustered 10 points in the game. They had 2 turnovers, so not sure exactly what happened here. After the wrestling champion did rush for over 200 yards. And we have a 100-yard rusher in Galvin. Both quarterbacks threw for over 200. Cole had 13 catches for champion and 156 yards on a balanced attack. There's the play-by-play. And lineups. Okay, next game on the schedule was Transylvania at Hazard County. Hazard County saw nearly all their points in the first half, had a 35-7 lead at halftime with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touchdowns in the first half. Hazard County had 444 total yards offense. The Transylvania's 368. Passing Cousins for Transylvania threw for over 300. 1 touchdown, but Prescott had probably one of his better games as he threw for 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. And Heads County also had a 100-yard rusher in Jones. Transylvania McLaurin had 9 catches for the game. And the play-by-play. And lineups. Final game schedule for week 6 was Winnipeg at Woodland. Winnipeg is still undefeated, and with Green both 5-0. Woodland got on the board first, but then Winnipeg came back with 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 possessions of scores before Woodland was able to get another touchdown here. So Woodland looks like had bookends as they scored first and last, but ultimately lost 34-14, and Winnipeg scored 34 in between Woodland's 2 touchdowns. Total offense, Winnipeg 411, the Woodlands 334. Down to the player stats. 300 yards for Tannehill and 2 touchdowns. And Woodland ended up with nearly 300 total, but as you can see, 2 quarterbacks foiled both quarterbacks. Okay, go to Sat. Johnson had 12 catches, over 100 yards. This is the first 200-yard games by receivers this week. For Winnipeg, and Cook and Ajak both caught for over 100 yards. Go down to the play-by-play. And lineups. Okay, that's it for the schedule for week 6. Standings in the North head-to-head have Green to 5-0, Sheriff to 0-5. Akron had played their first game. Winnipeg's 5-0 in the East PC side. Ahead of Transylvania, Cleveland, and Putnam. Front Street with 4-1 has Woodland and Hampton County both right behind them with 3-2 records. So over to the league leaders. You have Rogers leading in passing, Robinson leading in rushing, with Jones and Winnipeg closing the gap a little bit in the rushing yardage. Receiving, we have a couple of the hot over 30 catches, Adams and Lamb. You look through the rest of the statistics. We have a couple defenders with 3 interceptions, and a lot of players with 3 sacks. Front Street leads the league in offense total points, as they're averaging 34 a game. Akron in their long game on the PC side, and only gave up 6. Power, we have Winnipeg and Akron, Front Street, Green, and New York in the power standings. Okay, we'll now go over to the team stats. Akron with their one game, 1-0. Champion, 1-4. Cleveland, 1-4. Detroit, 0-2. Punch Street, 4-1. And you can just peruse the statistics for the player stats on the right side of the screen. Third screen, 5-0. Hazard County, 3-2. McCloskey has played one game on the PC side from the head-to-head division. Asheville, New York, Putnam County, Sheraton, still looking for their first win. Transylvania, Winnipeg, Whitland, and Yosemite. Okay, let's see if the and we'll take a look at the big games as soon as the system comes back. Looks like a little minor technical difficulty in the report. Well, let's shut down this scoreboard and we'll give it a try again. Okay. Looks like maybe we have this thing running again. Let's get the screen so it looks relatively nice. Okay, get over to the big players. If you look at all our 300-yard passers, and we had two this week, Watson Tannehill, actually 3 and Cousins. All there for 300. The rushing leaders with over 100 yards. And we had Galvin with 144. Jones second at 128. So we had 200-yard rushers this week. Receiving. Robinson and Cole and all threw for caught for over 100 yards, and Johnson and Cole. So we had 6 players, and Hopkins too, all over 100 yards in receiving. So let's take just look at 400-yard offense. You see Front Street with their 536 this week is the most total yards this season. Winnipeg and Yosemite both cracked to 500 yards. Yosemite also did that this week. You see there's quite a few 400-yard games this week with 1, 2, 3, 4 more 400-yard games occurring this week. Okay, so let's take a look at the up-and-coming games for week 7. We've also been notified that Nashville will be playing all their games on the PC from the head-to-head side, so we'll also play week 5 Akron at Nashville and week 6 Nashville at Lacrosse. Once those are accounted for, then here's the schedule for week 7. Hazard Counties at Winnipeg, Champions at Transylvania, Front Street at Cleveland, Woodland at Putnam County, Akron at Greene, Lacrosse at Sheridan, New York at Yosemite, Detroit at Nashville. Remember, for the TFL game of the week, I think we had selected Woodland at Putnam County. That should go live on YouTube around 6 p.m. this Sunday, 2/13/2022. And so until then, this is TCFL Central signing off for the day. Goodbye.